I'm going to go through digital marketing, but where digital marketing works really well is where you combine it with print, where you combine it obviously with brand, where you using exhibitions, where you're using telemarketing to follow up the leads. You know, the first thing that we do as soon as a lead pops into our digital marketing channels, we pop that straight over to Carson. They're on the phone to get that person booked in the diary for either a phone appointment or a face-to-face appointment, depending on what's relevant. And the phone appointments are really good because it does allow you to perhaps do that qualifying to decide whether you want to go and see them. The one I did yesterday was literally on my route home, so actually it was a bit of a no-brainer. But actually I was able to have a little chat with them and find out whether or not that's going to be a good prospect. The one I'm going to see on Friday originally did as a telephone meeting. It's right the other side of Oakhampton. So, you know, it's not the end of the world, but you want to know that you've got a pretty firm idea of what you're going into before you go that far. So where marketing works best is it where it works as a coordinated campaign. What do I want to talk about today? Well, we did a survey recently, just before Christmas. My team at the back there sent out a survey mainly to our prospects rather than to our clients, asking them what do they want to know, because we're trying to put together content, whether it be for this seminar, whether it be for ebooks, whether it be for blogs. What do they want to know? And actually most people were aware of the different marketing methods. You can read them there on our banner, social search engine optimization, social AdWords, Facebook ads, email marketing and websites. Most people know what the channels are. But probably the most interesting stat that came out, and this is the only stat I think that's actually got proper words on it. The interesting stat that came out was that 75% of people didn't know what digital marketing method to use. So that's what I want to talk about today, is what method should you be using, when is it appropriate, and how can you use them? So this is talking about digital marketing strategies. So that's what we're going to be focusing on now. Attract, engage, convert. It's quite interesting. I was looking at Dave's shirt. Dave, can you just turn around again? On the back of your shirt, you've got engage, connect, and grow. Whereas we've gone that. The thing is, if you're at one of Dave's shows, the attract has already been done there. You're already there. So he's then taking it on that way. Attract, engage, convert. So the first thing when you're thinking about in digital marketing is at what stage are you? Because different tools will work at different places. The email's had a lot of bad press this morning. I'm sitting there going, that screws up the whole of my talk, because everybody's slagging off email. And again, we all get these emails that are completely irrelevant to us and our business. I've looked at your website and we think we can help with your SEO. No, you haven't. If you had, you'd know I'm an SEO company. Why would you do that? It's not relevant. That's not helpful. But email really, really can work.
Nice. Can I just say, we use emails every single and multiple times during the week. So my brain was to remove the brain. So I don't want to sound like
no.
You get that, don't you?
No, that's okay. Don't worry. Don't take it personally. You're not coming to next year's. Not mine. And nor's Vic. So where are you in the cycle? Different digital marketing techniques will work at different points. So email is not brilliant for attract. It can work. It can work for attract. But actually for convert, it's very good. For engage, it can be pretty good. So where are the different stages? And are you looking to be proactive or reactive in your marketing? So let's throw out a couple of examples there of what I mean. We have a client who is a funeral director. You've got to be pretty careful on your digital marketing. So you don't want to be putting out there on your, doing Facebook adverts. Hey, have you considered burying a relative? That's probably not going to work. However, if you were using Facebook adverts for targeted at the over 60s, for funeral plan services, that could work really nicely. The thing is, if you are in the unfortunate position of having to plan a funeral for a relative who has recently died, the chances that Facebook's going to know about that and pop it up is going to be pretty you're going to go straight to Google. You're going to go straight to Google and search on it. So that's very much you, as business owners, being reactive in your marketing, being there when somebody's looking for you, as opposed to Facebook being proactive. Let's think about a solicitor. A solicitor is not going to put adverts, hey, have you considered murdering somebody and wanting want a solicitor? That's not going to work. But maybe if you're advertising will planning around certain life events, for birth of a child, when somebody's getting married, when you do hit certain age boundaries, those types of things. So that's when Facebook adverts could really work. So it's about thinking whether you're going to be proactive or reactive in your marketing. SEO, search engine optimization. Normally I spend a lot of time in seminars differentiating between SEO and AdWords. But actually, in this context, I'm kind of lump them in together to a degree, because they are reactive. It's not you putting out there to a client, have you thought about this? Have you considered one of these? It's about them looking for you in some way, shape or form, particularly on Google. And it's about you knowing what are people actually searching for. And it's about seeing if people are going to get found and have you got a chance. If you've got a brand new invention that nobody knows about, but it's going to revolutionize the world, there is no point doing search engine optimization or AdWords, because nobody is searching for whatever it is, because they've never heard of it and they don't know that they need one. That's when you've got to think of a proactive marketing technique. But if you are, funeral directors Exeter, wheel writers Exeter, plumbers Exeter, it's an immediate thing. I need a plumber, I need it now. The sink's exploding, the washing machine's dying. And if you're married to somebody as useless as me at DIY or anything practical, you need to get on and Google somebody and find somebody immediate and fast. You need to do that. So you've got to find out, are people searching for you? And what are they searching? It's not always what you think. A classic example, quite a few years ago now, we were working with a client for rollerblades. We all know what a rollerblade is. Was anybody searching for rollerblades? Yes, lots of people were searching for rollerblades. It's fantastic. Thing is, at that point, they were still pretty new to the market, and technically in the marketplace, they were called inline skates. So everybody who knew what they were and was selling them knew what they were called and was saying, yes, we're selling inline skates. Nobody was searching on inline skates. There was lots of competition for inline skates on SEO, on Google. Lots of competition. Very few people searching. Lots of people searching for rollerblades, not very much competition. You've got to find out what your customers are actually searching for. And particularly if you've got anything of a technical product, you probably use jargon, SEO being a great one. Actually, SEO has kind of slipped out into the general business consciousness. But if you start using anything jargon related, people won't be searching for it, or might be searching for it in small numbers, or might be your competition just looking to see who else is doing what. So you need to see how many people are searching. There's lots of tools you can use for that. SEMrush, there's Google Search Console, Google AdWords. You can find out, not exactly, but pretty much, who's searching for your keywords. And then, great, then you can target them. To decide whether you're going to use SEO or AdWords or Google Ads, 18 years of calling it Google AdWords, and now they changed the name to Google Ads. It's going to take me at least 15 years to get that out of my head. Is what's your time scale? So let's say you've come to me, we found out that lots of people are searching for your product or service, and we decide that we're going to get you to the top of Google. How are we going to do that? Are we going to go down the SEO route, or are we going to go down the ad route? Well, one thing is your timescale. If you say, well, we want to do SEO, that's got quite a long lead-in time. It's going to take a while to get you there. Typically, we would say 6 months. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 9, but typically around the 6 months to get you there, because you've got to do lots of things on the page, and you've got to try and eke your way up, and then Google will change their algorithms and you'll get knocked down. You have to eke your way up. There's lots of factors that are involved, but it's going to take time to get you there. Whereas with Google Ads, technically speaking, practically not, but technically speaking, if you said today, yes, we're going to start running Google Ads today, tomorrow you could be top of Google. So the time that it takes is very different. It does take a little bit longer than that, and there's stuff you need to do to knock out your negative keywords. So when I say literally tomorrow, that's kind of true and kind of not. It does take a little bit longer to get it working effectively. But it will give you that business straight away. What's the competition? What's the competition? So if we had a client last year, hosting company, people that provide our web hosting. Great company, really like them. They said, right, we want to come top of Google for keywords around hosting. And we looked at the competition and we went, yep, great, there's lots of searches. You can give us 10 grand a month for the next 10 months. We will not get you close to the front page. Now you might be thinking, that's not a very good advert for your business, Nigel. We've got to be realistic. You're up against the fast host. You're up against webhosting.com, all these big names. If you've got 10 massive names, fast host, Reactor, there's millions out there. But if you've got 10 big names that are on the front page of your website, on the first page for Google, you're not going to beat them. You're not going to beat them. You've got to be realistic. You might, over a number of years, putting a whole team in it, but people like Fast Hosts will have a marketing department, probably consisting of more people than there are in this room. They've been number one for a long time. They get huge amounts of hits. All of these things have a factor with Google, and you're not going to beat them. So you've got to be realistic about what competition you've got. But you can, if you're prepared to bid for it, jump straight to number one on AdWords. Now, I'm not saying that's the best way forward. I'm just saying it's a possibility that you can be there if it's really important to you. Another good example here. This is a search I did literally over the weekend. Hotel Devon. I would ask you to guess how many hotels are actually on the first page, but there's a very small clue that you may spot somewhere. There is not one. I was hoping to say there aren't any on the first 2 pages, but actually there are. Bovey Castle have managed to get themselves to about position number 14, I think it is. And there's one other right at the bottom of page 2. But literally 20 listings on Google for the word Devon Hotel, or Hotel Devon, and there are 2 hotels. You're up against TripAdvisor, you're up against Booking.com, you're up against Expedia. You haven't got a chance. You haven't got a chance. Now, that doesn't mean to say that if you've got a hotel, has anybody here got a hotel? Darryl, you've bound to have got one. You've got loads of businesses. No.
I've tried to search for hotels to find out.
But it can work. It can work. And I wouldn't, in this instance, recommend using AdWords either. Actually, not a client of ours, but a friend of a client of ours, quite a few years ago, did put £1,000 a month into Hotels Devon as his AdWords budget. He got it slightly wrong. He put it as a budget of £1,000 a month rather than X pounds per day. He set it up late at night. He got it all going. He came in the next morning. He did not have one lead. He didn't have a penny left of his £1,000 budget. The whole lot had gone overnight. I'm not going to talk about how you do these things. That's not the purpose of the talk today. But if you are doing AdWords, sorry, I've still got the volume turned up. I was trying to get Vic. If you are doing AdWords, it's going to go wrong. at the early stages. The more experienced you are and the better you are at it, the less it will go wrong and the smaller the consequences. But it doesn't matter how good you are, you will always get, oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, there's a keyword, negative keyword I didn't think of. So you always set your budget on a day by day. So control. If you've got AdWords, you've got a lot of control. If you do SEO, it's got a very long lead-in time. So a long time to go. Then you go, Nigel, got too much business, stop. And it comes very slowly down the other side. So you haven't got a lot of control. It takes a while to get there. You've got those leads coming in, but then it takes time to turn them off if you're too busy. With AdWords, I've got no business. I turn it on. It works. I'm too busy. I turn it off. I'm too busy. I turn it off half. I step it down. You've got that control because you can just turn off the budget. You can halve the budget. Huge amounts of control. Should have pressed the button earlier. So you can turn on and off the tap of leads. A couple of examples where we've used it. Floristry Supplies, the Baggery, one of our clients, been there for a long time. It's taken us a number of years to get them there. They've been there for a few years on a very competitive. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong slide there. That's the AdWords. So we're using AdWords to get them top. They do actually feature very nicely for floristry supplies as well. Why might you go for both? Well, one is because, again, you've got that control. The second reason is that if people are searching on desktop, that's great. And a lot of people will scroll straight past the ads. But if you're on a mobile, it's only really those 4 paid adverts that appear at the top. So if you want to make sure that you're coming on screen, if for people who are using mobiles particularly, you need to be using AdWords at the top there. Okay, so those are really 2 of the main reactive ways of getting in business on a digital marketing. Finding out what your keywords are, finding out what people are searching for, and getting yourself there, whether it be AdWords, whether it be SEO. Well, what about Facebook? Well, Facebook isn't really all that reactive. It's in fact very much the opposite. It's very proactive. And the reason being, it's got all this amazing targeting that you can do. So let's throw our mind back, as they used to do in the TV thing. We'll go all wobbly and we'll cast our mind back a long time ago to when Daryl was speaking. And Daryl found out that Facebook can do clever things due to Cambridge Analytica. Let's ignore Daryl's naivety for a while. You can tell we're friends. I wouldn't insult anybody. Well, I might. We're all business owners in the room today. Maybe not. I'm guessing you don't actually own Flybe. You don't, unless you're Richard Branson in a remarkable disguise. But most of us are business owners here. Or at least marketing people. When we're talking about the Cambridge Analytica thing, we put on our little foil hats, yeah? Because actually all the things that Carol, what's her name, the crazy cat lady in The Guardian, has told us about Cambridge Analytica, most of them are true. Many of the things are exaggerated, but actually many of the things they can do, she hasn't even scratched the surface on. Facebook can do some truly scary stuff. Not just Facebook, you know, Google, Apple, all of these things. You might have seen that in the documentary about Mark Zuckerberg, he has a little plaster over his lens on his laptop camera. And I've got a little one, not a plaster, I've got a little slider thing from Devon Cornwall Police that were handing out their cybercrime unit. There's some really scary things going on there. But we're in marketing mode, we're taking off our tinfoil hats, and we're going, woohoo, we can use this information because it's really, really powerful. This is a campaign that we did for a campsite. Camping and caravan site. So they've been going quite a few years. So we know pretty closely who their target market are. So we were able to target people in the areas that they live, in the age group that they come, in the gender, if that's appropriate, but actually, whilst it tends to, for this campaign particularly, and indeed many campaigns, women tend to be the primary bookers, but we actually ran this campaign to both. It's mainly families, so parents in a relationship or married, who are interested in camping and caravanning. So we can really build up quite a detailed picture. It's going back to what Jonathan was talking about earlier, about the buyer persona, knowing your customers. Once you can do that, you know who you're targeting. And then you can run proactive adverts to them. Now, they may not have been thinking about going on holiday to a campsite in Devon and taking the dog. But we can suddenly put that there, and it works. They're now doing regular campaigns, but the first time we did this for them was August last year. And they said, we've kept them busy through SEO over the years. And that's worked really, really well. And then last year they went, Nigel, we got 7 caravans empty in August. Oh, what does that mean? Well, that means £750 per caravan per week. That's not good. So we put a relatively small budget into Facebook adverts, targeting very tightly on their targeted market, actually even more tightly than that one. They filled all those 7 caravans. Now, somebody with better math than me that can work out what 7 times 750 is, but even my small brain can tell me that it's quite a few £1,000s. And if you can fill those caravans for a couple of £100, that's what we call very good. That's a technical term, very good. I think it was Jonathan was talking about, I think both of you indeed talked about the pictures that you use. And would I buy that holiday based on the fact that he's got a dog there? No. I'd be thinking, bloody yapping dog, it's going to ruin my peace and quiet. I don't know. You'd be amazed, because I certainly am on a regular basis, how putting particularly dogs into adverts can work. Cats can work too. Sorry? Fur babies. But putting a dog in there, particularly campsite, a lot of holiday accommodation won't take pets. You put that in there, you'd be amazed how well that works. Amazed. Torquay Boys Grammar, another client down in Torquay, you'll be surprised to hear. So again, we can target on location, we can target on age. First year we did this, we ran 2 campaigns, one to the parents, one to the kids. Yeah, it turns out that kids at that age really not interested in their future. Why I would think that, being the father of no longer teenage twins, but yeah. So you match with the parents. Then you can run ads that appeal to them. Again, what they traditionally done was put poster adverts, print unfortunately, I'm sorry to say it now, on the back of buses and at train stations. And they've got an amazing response of nobody much turning up for their open evenings. And suddenly what they do is get people turning up to their open evenings. There's some other really cool stuff you can do on Facebook. So if you've got a database of emails of people who have bought from you or even just inquired from you, you can, and this is GDPR compliant, as long as you're entitled to hold the emails in the first place, you can take those emails and you can upload them to Facebook. Facebook will recognize some of these people and match them to their profiles. You can then run adverts to people who have inquired about your service or people who actually are customers. So all that stuff that we're doing about, well, who are your customers? Oh, I don't really know. I think it's everyone. Really? Is it everyone? Let's find out. Now, GDPR and all that, you won't find out who those people are. You won't find out find out exactly who the mix is. You won't know who their profiles are. It's all behind firewalls, but they can target your customers. Then you can go, hey, Facebook, you know that I uploaded those 1,000 emails and you recognize 750 of them. Oh, yes, we know that. Right, can you find us another 10,000 customers who have got very similar profiles? Who's got a similar profile to people that have already bought from us? and then let's advertise to them. Very, very powerful in helping you decide who your target market actually is. It's people like people who have already bought from you, and you can run those adverts to them. Again, GDPR compliant. Okay, bit of the secret sauce in a lot of this stuff, because again, somebody this morning, can't remember who it was, said it takes time to build up that trust. There used to be something called the rule of 7. That's kind of moved into the rule of 9. You need to have seen me, heard me, seen my adverts, whatever, 9 times before you'll really get me in the consciousness. Well, one of the great tricks for this is remarketing. Now you're going, I don't know what remarketing is. Bet you all do. It's when you go onto a website. Amazon do this all the time, so you'll have seen it with Amazon definitely. You go onto Amazon and you look at something, but you don't buy it because you're just browsing, you're a little bit interested, or the phone rings, or the kid needs feeding, or the dog needs whatever it might be that dogs do. I don't know. But you get distracted. You're just not ready to buy. But then a day later, a week later, a month later, a little advert pops up when you're on a completely different website, or you're on Facebook. You can do remarketing on Facebook. An ad pops up going, oh, remember us? You were interested in buying our product or service? Because people do move on. They very rarely do people go, oh, look at that. Yeah, that's what I want, but buy it. It doesn't often happen that way. Will with repeat orders, but less likely when they're just browsing and researching. It takes time. So if you like, the secret ingredient to the digital marketing sauce is remarketing. There's an example. I happened to, we run remarketing. Strangely enough, I'd looked at my own website. I was looking at something on the Washington Post. It was a year or so ago. And up pops my advert. So I'm appearing on the Washington Post. Now, the great thing is that doesn't cost me anything. It doesn't cost anything for my customers to see me on the Washington Post, on the Express, the Mail, the Guardian, whoever else is in the Google network. I've seen it on really obscure sites, as long as they're in the Google network. Doesn't cost anything unless they click on your ad. If they click on your ad, then it costs. But then they're coming back to read more information, to take them further along that buying journey. Maybe to buy, maybe to make contact. It's another touch along that route of 7 or 9 touches. So remarketing, whether it's on the Google network or whether it's on the Facebook network, something really advised. Kind of as I say, the secret in the sauce of the digital marketing mix. Social media. Tierney, was this the search most? How do we? In our survey, it was the thing that people wanted to know most about was social media, wasn't it? And rightly so. There's lots of good reasons why you should be on social media. You need to show that you're active. You need to connect with your customers. I would actually say that at one point it looked like it was going to be the thing that dominated marketing for years to come. And there's an element it can, but actually where you put it in the marketing mix is you do need to be very careful. You can spend a lot of time on Facebook and on Twitter, creating content, putting stuff out there, and the engagement you get is very, very low. You do need to be careful. We looked at Axvel a little while ago. Actually, their social media engagement is fantastic because it's something people like to engage about. They've got a lot of repeat customers, a lot of people that almost treat it as part of the family. It's that routine. Get a lot of shares and engagements. You do just need to be a little bit careful on how much time you spend on there. It can really work, but the secret is creating good quality content. You do need to create good quality content. Well-designed, good quality content as a well-designed. Again, I mentioned the baggery earlier. We've actually drastically reduced the amount of posts. We do their social media as well. We've drastically reduced the amount of posts that we're doing, particularly on Facebook. But what we've done is really upped the level of it. So creating infographics, creating ways that you can put together your ideal bouquet, all these types of things, real FAQs, trying to help people. So providing good quality content, but dropping the frequency. That's it. I mentioned earlier that I'm off to see a client or a prospect next week. As part of the review before the phone call, I just checked their Facebook page. Yeah, that was last updated in April 2015. I looked at another one the other day and I said, well, it's not too bad. It says that you're going to be at the Devon County show. Oh, no, not this coming year. That was like, oh no, it was actually the year before last. That was on the blog that was streamed onto the front page of their website. They were going to be exhibiting at the Devon County show 2016. As a potential customer, that makes me think that they don't care. As a potential prospect, I'm woohoo. But as a potential customer, it makes me think that they don't care. It'd be better not to do it at all than to have that streaming onto your front page. So just think very carefully how you're going to manage social media. And just because Twitter has changed doesn't mean to say that it doesn't work. You do not get the level of engagement on Twitter now that you did 5-10 years ago. 5-10 years ago, everybody had been chatting about everything after the seminar, all talking. Doesn't work like that. But if you look at the stats in Google Analytics, you can see that it does still drive traffic to your website. People may not be engaging, but they are still coming through, or they may still be coming through. You need to find out. You need to check. If you are doing bloody awful screen capture, how does that work? I don't know. I tried about 3 times. In the end, I gave up. But sod it. Yeah, well, I was smiling like probably 1 frame before and 1 frame after, just not there. But Facebook Live, doing Facebook Live is fantastic. Really, looking at stats, anything from 250 to 400% increase in the amount of engagement and views that you get. That was just one that we did for this seminar, had 160 views. I look back through our post engagement, that 250 to 400% increase seems to be about the norm. I checked some stats with what other people are saying on Google, and again, 250 to 400% increase in your shares and engagement seems to be the thing. Facebook loves Facebook Live, so they will push it up the ratings, and people seem to like it as well. How long should a video be? How long is a piece of string? If you're doing a front page video for your website, probably 1 minute 30. You don't want it too long. If you're doing something that's engaging and interesting, it could be a couple of hours. Why not? You guys have all sat here for effectively 4 hours listening to content that hopefully is interesting and relevant to your business. So if it is interesting and engaging, people will stay and listen. The great thing with a Facebook video is you can watch a bit of it and go, that's really interesting, I'll watch the rest later. And you can save it and watch the rest at your convenience. But it does get pushed up the profiles. And that's an introduction to email marketing, isn't it? Apparently that's what Darryl thinks of email marketing. Big raspberry. It really can work. A quick demonstration of why it can't really work. Most people in this room booked as a result of email marketing. How do we know that? Because we monitor you, we track you, we have our little tinfoil hats on and we know what you've been up to. But email marketing can really work as long as it's targeted, it's relevant, you've got a good message, it's well designed. We send out a weekly email. When I talk about email marketing, question I'm probably asked most is how frequently should you market? How often should you email? And there's no right answer to that. I would suggest if you're doing it less than once a month, you're probably doing it wrong. I do know some people who are way wealthier than I am that are emailing once, maybe even twice a day. Personally, I feel that's too much. We tend to email once a week. We generally email out on a Tuesday. And then those people that haven't opened it, we send them the same email with a different subject line. And the subject line really does depend. That's the key to whether you're going to be opened or not and read. We send it out with a different subject line to the people who haven't opened it on a Thursday. That tends to be our route. And it tends then to be saying, here's a taster of the information that you'll get on our blog. So the full article is on the blog. We're using Facebook, Twitter to drive people to the blog. We're using email to drive people to the blog. So they're coming to our website. So they're engaging. They're then seeing the other things that we've got to offer. Google is seeing lots of people coming to our website, which they like and will push you up the SEO rankings. So you start bringing all of these things together. And when they've been to our website, as I said, they see the remarketing. So they remember in 3 weeks, 3 months, whatever, to buy from us. So it's bringing all of these things together. When they then fill out a form on our contact form, we then pass them over to Carson to phone them up. And then they get added to a different list on our email thing, and the whole process. So it's about bringing all of these different things together. But whether it's email or whatever, you need to know who that customer is. Who is your ideal customer? What is the buyer persona? What do they look like? You need to be consistent. Don't send out an email this month and then leave it another 6 months and send out another one. In that 6 months, the client probably has gone somewhere else. The prospect probably has gone somewhere else. If you're posting on digital media once every 2 months, it makes it look like you don't care. If you're not replying to questions, that's a great one we get, where people actually are just putting through questions. You need to reply. And another example of how monitoring your social media can work, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, but somebody missed the booking deadline. But they contacted us late last night on Facebook and said, can we still come? Now, if we didn't check Facebook regularly, when I say we, I took the blame for something earlier. I'm going to obviously take the credit. No, it was Tierney. Tierney was on Facebook yesterday evening. Contacted back. Yes, of course you can come. We'd love to see you. It's almost as though I didn't go and ask them to stop that, isn't it? You need to be consistent. You need to be monitoring it. You need to be posting on a regular basis. Attract, engage, convert. Know where you are in the process and use the appropriate tool. Monitor, monitor, monitor. You need to be keeping on top of it. I use this phrase an awful lot lately. I've put it into the Facebook Lives. There was the old saying many years ago, half my advertising doesn't work. The trouble is I don't know which half. The phrase these days is, half my advertising doesn't work. I just can't be asked to look at Google Analytics to find out which half. You can find out where your leads are coming from. And that's not just from digital marketing. You can put QR codes. Yes, they exist. You can put tracker numbers on your printed literature, on your giveaways at your exhibitions. You can put tracking codes on all of this stuff to find out where people are coming from. So you need to monitor it. You need to know what's working.